Hi, thanks for joining me again today. Hopefully you saw the article that I put out this morning, which was around redundancies, how to fail before failure takes you. I can't remember the name of the article specifically, but it's really around the things that can fail in your business, like your car or your computer or other things that might break down, and what are the redundancies that you put in place in the systems to manage those redundancies. So I thought I would continue this conversation about what if your systems fail? What if your process is wrong? What if your ideas don't work? These are conceptual failures as opposed to products or things failing on you. And with conceptual failures, the redundancy that is a part of the success that you have, if you want to recover from them, is that you have to be able to have resiliency. So think about it. When you're sick, when you become sick, it is a failure of your body, and it starts to fail. Dog walking by. When it starts to fail, your body becomes ill, and to be able to recover, you have to have some resiliency. And after you've recovered is your success. Of course, if you don't recover from an illness, it's a life fail. So it's the same in business. If you don't recover, you don't become successful. So let's talk a little bit about how to recover, what recoveries are, and I want to share a few stories first. I worked for this company that developed a really incredible product in the medical device industry. They created this product and created a market for it and was selling it. It was doing really well. Then they sold the entire company to a multi-billion-dollar corporation in the US and continued to run this small company under the umbrella of the big company out of Toronto in Canada. And the company was phenomenally successful. They had about 50 employees. They were really good to their employees. Their employees created lots of new product ideas and worked well in teams and worked well independently. And the company itself was very successful. But the fail in the system was a purchasing fail. The large corporation had another corporation that created the side effects of the other corporation created a problem that could be fixed by the company that I worked for, which was a conflict of interest for the company. And they had to sell us, except because we were so successful, it was very expensive. No one wanted to get into the market and buy it. And it turned out that they ended up just basically dismantling the company. They sold off the customer support side to their competitor, and the company itself closed down. So the system on ensuring that you don't end up in a conflict of interest when you purchase was the fail that they had there, and they didn't recover from. So another company that I worked for, they had the idea that just enough was good enough. And in their processes, they didn't really consider what it meant to do something really well. In fact, they were always pushing the limits of safety and the abilities of the people that worked in their company. And they asked for things that probably shouldn't have been asked for. And the company went on for a few years until one day, there was a lot of fails that happened, but they never readjusted. They never found a way to make it better. And one day someone was killed. And after someone was killed, the company was forced to shut down. So not trying to fix your processes when problems were happening was one of the problems. And the arrogance of their the way that they saw them doing, they didn't want to meet the laws. So they were basically working outside the laws and some of the things that they did, and they paid for it. And a third company I worked for about ideas, they were building a new internet product. They'd been in business for about 25 years. They were already very successful, and they had created this one product, several different products based on telephony, which is for the telephone industries, and they were one of the top in the world. They didn't have to do any marketing. They didn't have to do anything to make their company work anymore. And they saw that the internet was coming in, and this was brand new thing, so they were going to build a new product. But what they didn't have was the new way of thinking how to manage a new product in a new medium. They were now on the internet, and this company worked very differently when they worked as a large company, just working in, traditional sales. They tried to bring their old process and their old systems into their new ideas, and they couldn't launch the product. They couldn't get in front of how the internet worked. And again, the company just downsized and downsized and downsized until it completely folded. So let's talk about resilience then. How can you prepare for the failure that you're going to have in your business? Because I guarantee you're going to have failures in your business, and this is something that we have to look at. So the first thing, of course, is expect to fail. Expect that there's going to be something that's going to happen, then you're not going to reach your goals. And when you're doing this, you know that you are going to have to adjust. Understand that you are that you're going to need people around you, and that you don't beat yourself up about it. I mean, this failure is not something to be ashamed of. It's not something to be hateful for yourself. You don't need to pull your hair out after it happens. Just make sure that you know that it's going to happen, and prepare ahead of time with some alternatives of what might happen. So when you launch something, think of, well, where else can I be? What else can I be doing? What other products could I try? If you have a product line and you just tried a couple, maybe the ones that you try aren't the ones that get the general people to, or your biggest mass of markets to actually buy in from you. So the second thing you can do is accept change. Things are going to change. And now more than ever, we hear it all the time. There is a huge amount of change that's happening. The acceleration of change itself, it's not that things are just changing on a one-to-one basis. It's just the acceleration of change is so fast, we don't even know how to calculate what the change will be 10 years down the road and how fast that's going to happen. So expect change. Don't be rigid. Don't be the person who says, my idea is the best one. I've already thought of this. This really works well. And don't discount other people's ideas. Don't say, I've tried that before. That doesn't work. That doesn't, my people won't buy that. Think that, I might need to change. Maybe my market has changed. Maybe the people have changed. Maybe there's new products around them and they're looking at those instead of mine or my services, and they have other things that they can now purchase. They have other people or experts they can purchase from. So expect change. Even when you're doing well, expect change. And don't fail in a vacuum. Seek insight from other people. Find yourself an accountability partner, have a mentor, have an advisor, have a friend, someone that you can talk to about the changes that are happening in your business, the fails that you meet and have to overcome to become successful. Your final product will never be your first idea or your first best idea. It doesn't matter what the idea is, there will always be some adjustments. In fact, for the longest time, I kept thinking, well, I've never really failed in business. But it's not that I haven't failed, or that I just don't use the term failure, because everything that I do, I've had to switch. I understand that when things don't work, it's not because it's a failure, it's because I haven't figured out exactly how it matches my target market, their needs, how my systems work, how my business works, how I work. So don't beat yourself up about it. Don't beat yourself up about it. And understand this, you are not a failure unless you don't recover. So if you're not putting the effort in to recover after every failure, then you are a failure. Just like being ill. If you don't recover from illness, you have failed in life. If you don't recover from the failures that happen in your business, you will never become a success. So failure plus recovery equals success. Thank you for watching. We will be having our live breakfast in Bradford on Friday, August the 4th, I believe it is. It's the Friday at 8:30 in the morning. So if you live in the Bradford area, come down from Barrie or come down north or come up from Toronto or Newmarket or Aurora and come and spend the morning with us. Chat, bring your ideas. We'll talk about the different things that I've covered over the last few weeks before then. Have a great day, everyone.